guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today's episode is all about me and why I have my YouTube channel. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Blue, I'm a medical coder. Okay guys, since we have hit 20,000 subscribers recently, I know that we have a lot of new people to the channel. And so I kind of want to take today's episode to reintroduce myself and tell you guys a little bit about me and why do I have this channel and what are some of the things that we do here. So here we go. All right. So my name is Blue and I'm a native Texan. I have been in medical coding since 2008. I have been a student starting in 2007. I was unemployed and I was at the unemployment office, and they have all of these classes that you can attend for like resume rewrites and things, and interview skills, and education was one of the classes. So if you needed a GED, they could help you. If you wanted to get trained for a new career, they could also help you with that too as well. So that's how I got started on my journey with medical coding, because I didn't know anything about it. I heard medical and I assumed that it was needles. And I was like, no, I'm not about that. And I told my case manager that I wanted to do accounting because I'm a numbers person. I like numbers. And he mentioned, what about medical coding? And so he set me up with these schools to go and visit and just see if I liked it, see if I liked what it was about. And then if I didn't, he said, you know, he can get me into the accounting program, no big deal. So I said, okay, you know, no big deal. I have nothing to lose at this point. I was going through a divorce and I had just moved back home with my mom, which I was fine with, but you know, I needed to get my life going again. And so I visited the schools. They told me about medical coding, and I really liked it because I like the idea of reading, and I'm a big reader. I love books, as you can see. I do love books, and so I just figured this was something that I could start, and I could, you know, renew again my life. And so I needed some direction, and so this was a really good start down a very, very good path. Medical coding found me. I always say that all the time. It did, because I knew nothing about it, and I would have never had the idea to go into medical coding had I not had that fateful meeting with my case manager, Enrique. So I got through medical coding school with the help of my mom. She pushed me, she motivated me, and I have my channel as sort of continuing on with her legacy, because I am my mother's daughter. And how she supported me, and she was always believing in me. And this is how I know I come across on the channel, is that I do believe in people. I do believe in, if you want to start your life again, if you want to be a student and start this new career that you have no idea about, but you need motivation, well, here I am. On my channel, I do have motivational videos. I do speak very frankly. This is something that I am a very blunt person, but I speak the real deal. I don't believe in sugarcoating anything. I believe in getting to the point. So that's why on a lot of my videos, you'll see that I am very to the point. And while I know my brand of magic is not for everybody, I know that it has helped more people. And that is the whole purpose. And again, I would not have my career if it wasn't for my mom. And so I dedicate my channel to my mom, because I wouldn't have any success in life had it not been for her. My mom passed away in 2009. And so being a brand new medical coder, being in a new place, I had just gotten to my forever home in medical coding at the hospital that I work at. I had just gotten here, and I hadn't been here too long before she passed away. But this medical coding was what got me through that time. It gave me something to focus on. It gave me something to work with. And about 6 years into my career is when I had my aha moment. I call it my aha moment. In 2014, I had the light bulb moment where I realized this wasn't just a job. You know, medical coding wasn't just a job. It was a career. And I think it's very important when you understand the distinction between job and career, then you get it. And to me, I would do medical coding for free. Not that I do it for free, but I would. And that's how you know that you have a passion for it, when you just can't wait to get to work because you want to do whatever it is you're assigned to do. I currently code for the orthopedic and podiatry clinics, but I have a lot of experience with a lot of different clinics. I have worked in the professional fee or pro fee clinics. You may see those in the job listings out there as pro fee, but that was where I started my career in pro fee coding, which gave me access to a lot of different clinics. And I did a lot of ICU coding. I did a lot of just different internal medicine specialty, and so that gave me a really good learning experience. And because of that, I have become well-rounded, and I'm not afraid of any topic in medical coding. When you become a medical coder, it's really easy to fall into that trap of, well, I'm really confident coding in, let's just say, for example, orthopedics, so I wouldn't want to go anywhere else. When in actuality, you should want to work in a certain clinic for a certain amount of time and then move on to another clinic. I am occasionally called upon to help in other clinics, and so I will rescue whole clinics, meaning that if there's something that's going on in that clinic, maybe the providers are not documenting like they're supposed to, I've been called in to kind of like, okay, let's get in here, let's start digging and find out what the problem is. And a lot of times it's just communication. And I've had to work on my communication, because to be a good medical coder, you have to have really good communication skills. You are dealing with alpha personalities, very strong personalities, and you will deal with people who are arrogant, and you will deal with people who are very friendly. So you have the whole spectrum, and you have to be able to change course and deal with each individual like an individual. And you have to show them respect, because a lot of times, it gets really easy to kind of like slip into that trap of, oh my gosh, why can't they just work with me? Why can't they just do this? And I already done told them. But sometimes you have to change your approach, again, to tailor each provider. When you do that, you're more likely to get a response and to get a reaction that is positive from that individual. But it really takes you learning yourself and learning how to communicate. And again, I've had to learn how to communicate. When I had my aha moment in 2014, this was around the time that we had moved from an annex building where they had all the medical coders, and we had a brand new, beautiful new hospital built. And the hospital administrators said, we want the coders to be embedded in the clinics because we think that that would be a lot better for the providers. Well, yes, it is a good idea to have the coders embedded in the clinics because it makes them easy to access and everything. And so it's a lot, you get to build those relationships. And it's very important when you're coding to build those relationships, because it can mean the difference between being frustrated and being like, okay, I can figure this out because me and my provider are teammates. When I first started in the hospital, I had been away from them. I was just a email voice, and I didn't really understood what that meant at the time. All I thought was, well, they don't want to hear from me because I'm a coder, and I'm not like them. They have all of this education. When it's not true, because these providers, if you get one that's really open and receptive, and a lot of them are. I had my experience with one that he's like, well, you're the coder and I'm the doctor, so I don't know your language. You got to help me out here, Blue. And so I was like, oh, okay. And so that made sense to me. And learning from him, I was like, okay, so if I could take this good experience and I can improve myself as far as, when I'm speaking, I need to be clear. When I'm speaking, I don't need to apologize. I see people apologize a lot, even in the emails, the hundreds of emails that I get in a month. I get a lot of people apologizing for nothing. It's just, well, I'm sorry, I have a question. You never apologize if you have a question. Okay, and there's no need to apologize for that. You should only apologize when you've done something wrong. And people have a harder time doing that. Sometimes when they've done something wrong, it's hard for them to apologize, but you can apologize for something you don't need to apologize for, you know? And so that's where learning to improve your communication comes into play. So I learned that. I learned how to be more confident in my speaking with them, because I had to put that mindset on of they are people too. And I had it in my mind for the longest time that they were superior because they had all this education, and when in actuality they're human too. And being embedded in the clinic, I could see the human element of them come out, because they like compliments just like everybody else. They respect people that are real and that will tell them straight out and not be afraid of them, you know, because they have a lot of people that do have fear of them because they are doctors, you know. So when they know that you have the ability to be able to communicate with them on a real basis, but respectfully, they can respect that. And so that makes all the difference in the world when it comes to enjoying your work. And so that's what I currently do now. I'm embedded in a clinic, and I am a coder for orthopedics and podiatry. I have about 16 or 17 providers now in my charge between orthopedics and podiatry. And I tell them all the time, your coding health is my responsibility. And I always tell my providers that you may not be here forever. You may decide to go to another facility, or you may get another offer somewhere else. And I always tell them that I want them to learn as much from me as their coder as possible, because you never know who you're going to get in the next place. And they may not have a coder. They may just have a biller who doesn't have background in coding, right? Who's just kind of putting codes through. Or they may have a coder who doesn't really know, and maybe doesn't really care to make sure that they're getting everything that they deserve, and they're just kind of putting things through because maybe they are afraid. And so it just really depends. But I always tell my providers, the thing that I want you to have before you leave me is the ability to be able to document everything that you've done, because you cannot assume that the next coder is going to look and make sure and ask questions, because it takes a while to kind of understand like what's happening. And it takes a while to understand that, hey, there's something missing here. But just by talking with them and working with your providers, again, it can really open your eyes to a lot of different things. And continuing education is so important. The best thing that I have had in experience-wise in my time as a medical coder is attending a conference, the national conference with the American Health Information Management Association. I currently hold the CCS, the Gold Standard of Medical Coding Credentials, which is the Certified Coding Specialist offered with AHIMA. And I also hold the CCSP, the Certified Coding Specialist Physician-Based. And this is the mastery of the outpatient setting coding. And so I got both of these credentials last year. I started my career with the CCA, which is a Certified Coding Associate. And I held on to it for as long as I could until last year. So from 2008 to last year, I had it in 2021 was when I put it to bed. There are things that I am currently doing so that I can advance my career, and it was time to put that CCA to bed. And so, but I held on to it because there's a lot of people that don't understand what CCAs can do. They want to immediately dismiss a CCA because the description on the AHIMA website says entry level or entry. And that's not necessarily the case where they CCAs don't know anything. CCAs have to know a lot. And the CCA test is a junior version of the CCS exam. So that individual who has a CCA has to know inpatient coding and outpatient coding, which is a lot more than any other entry-level credential. Okay, so that's just something to know. And I always talk to my people that are getting their degrees in the time that you become a manager. If you're going to become a manager out there, really take a look at the CCAs, because they are unfairly passed over because people have this misconception of what the CCA is. So do yourself a favor, educate yourself by going to the AHIMA website and seeing what's all in those domains. And those domains are testing that individual who has a CCA. And so that you could be reassured that once they pass that exam, that they've covered all of those domains, and so they know. And that person has a lot more knowledge than somebody who's just kind of let their knowledge lapse and kind of gone into like a rut of doing the same types of coding and not really updating themselves on the guidelines or reimbursement methodologies. So that's something to consider. But again, another reason that I have my channel is to put out the information and be clear about what these credentials are. And I'm always going to be honest with you guys. And for some, I know that they don't like that. They don't like honesty. I know, because I get the emails or I'll get the comments. And I'm always going to be honest. I'm always going to be straightforward. I'm always going to be blunt. There's no other way for me to be other than that. But I do believe that I think that if you are listening to somebody that's going to give you this straightforward information, you know it's always going to be the truth. I don't have anything to sell you as far as a program goes. And yes, somebody commented, well, no, you have services on your channel. Yes, I do. But I'm not selling a program. I'm not selling a medical coding program. And people who ask me, well, what program do you recommend for medical coding? There's three ways you can learn medical coding that I know of. Going directly to the AHIMA website, they have their own training program online. AAPC also has their training program online, or you can do independent study. I have originally done the independent study video, and it is in my playlist for you to look through. And I will probably leave the link in the description box for the independent study. You can study on your own and then prepare yourself for the exam and then pay to take the exam. You don't have to go through a program, okay? But it does take a lot of discipline. And that's something that's lacking sometimes for some. Ooh, my light went out. But a technical problem. Okay. But anyway, we're going to go with one light then. Because I have to film this and I have a meeting that's going to start in a few minutes. So with all of that said, when you are starting out in this journey, and you may hear things on my channel that you don't like. And I'm sorry for that. But I will say that it is the truth. And it's better to hear the truth than to hear a lie, right? Because there's plenty of people that are self-serving out there that will tell you all kinds of things that you want to hear. And I've noticed that since the time that I started in this industry, is that, you know, there's going to be people that try to sell. The 3 schools that I visited, the last school was the only one who wasn't trying to push medical coding because, oh, you can do it from home, or, oh, you're going to get this really high, stupid high salary when you do this field. I always say we don't talk about money and specifics on my channel. You can look at the Labor of Statistics, or the Bureau of Statistics, or the Department of Labor in your area, and they will tell you how much a medical coder makes. So that way you can get a real accurate, you know, understanding of how much a medical coder makes. Because the way that some of these schools try to sell these programs, they're trying to tell people that, oh yeah, you can make all this crazy money. When I look at that, I'm like, that's what coders who have experience make. And when they say up to, then you know that means it's up to. That's not where you start at. Starting salaries don't start at up to. They start at starting salary is. And so that's how you know. But this is a great field and I love what I do. And like I said, I created my channel for motivation, to spread the truth so that, you know, people know the honest truth. And I talk about study tips. I talk about, you know, motivational tips. I do talk about the industry, talk about how to deal with your providers. I've done almost every single topic that you could possibly think of. I am a tutor, so if you are interested in a tutoring session, if somebody is not explaining it to you and you just need that one-on-one time, You can book a session with me. My rate and my contact information is in the description box below, so just be sure to check that out. And I do post it on my YouTube community tab. Occasionally I'll put the flyer out. I do have a Facebook page for Medical Coding with Bleu, so you can look on Facebook and connect with me there under Medical Coding with Bleu. And I do also do resume rewrites. I've talked about resume tips for brand new medical coders before. Sometimes people feel better if somebody else writes their resume. And, you know, having a really good resume is going to be the difference between you standing out in the field versus, you know, getting passed over. Okay, so resumes are really important. Check out my video for my tips on resumes, but if you want yours rewritten, again, my rate and my contact information is in the description box below. And I offer that because, again, I am a veteran medical coder, so I know what these employers are looking at when they're looking at these resumes, okay? And finally, I have my Patreon channel. And Patreon, if you don't know, is a lot like YouTube. That is where I do all of my coding workouts. I do make crossword puzzles and word finds. I have a once a month tutoring session, like not tutoring, but study hall session. So if you have a question, you can attend the live Zoom and you'll be with other people and I'm just answering questions. So if you are studying and you kind of want to get an idea of something, you can always attend that. And so that link for my Patreon channel is in the description box below. The membership level started out at $10 per month, but you get access to all of those things. And those funds go to further my education. So that is what I do with that over there. So if you're interested in that, there you go. So, but yes, I would really love it if you haven't subscribed yet, that you hit that little subscribe button, because, you know, that way you can be notified of all the new shows that come out. I have new shows Monday through Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. I do a once a month live. It's always going to be the last Friday of the month where I come on live at 7:30. So it's just a bonus episode, so that way you guys can talk to me live and ask me questions, and, you know, we just have a really good time. Whenever I do the lives, I used to do them 5 nights a week, but things have changed, and so I've stopped doing them every night, and I only do them once a month now. But it's really great. I love seeing everybody there. I love when people post blue hearts in the chat. The blue hearts warms my heart. Although my name is spelled B-L-E-U, sometimes people spell it B-L-U-E, and I have to tell them, hey, it's B-L-E-U. So if you do that to me and I say it's B-L-E-U, I'm not being rude. I'm just saying, hey, my name is Blue, okay? But yes. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. But thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you for taking time to listen to who I am and why I'm here. I hope my videos help you, and I hope that if you're studying right now, that you stay encouraged, you stay motivated, you stay positive, because a great career field is waiting for you. All right, guys. I will see y'all on the next episode. Like, subscribe, and share. Bye!